Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now if you're new here, I'm Dino the Realtor, and today we're going to dive into an update on the Maryland real estate housing market. Now whether you're a buyer or you're a seller or you're just curious about what's going on in the world of real estate, this video is going to be for you. Now we're going to be talking about recent interest rate cuts, how long houses have been sitting on the market, and what kind of price drops we've been looking at recently all over the place. Let's get right into it, all right? First up, let's talk about interest rates. Now, if you've been following the news, you know that the Federal Reserve just lowered interest rates, okay? But what does that actually mean in the market? The Fed's been adjusting rates and it's had a direct impact on the market, but right now, things are not as good as you may think. Right now, the rates have actually went up a little bit from where they were a couple months ago. And that's a little bit different. I know even with the interest rate drops, a conventional 30-year mortgage is over 7% right now. A government 30-year mortgage is hovering around 6.75%. Now, during the pandemic, rates were so much lower than that. And even a couple months ago, rates were much higher than where they are right now. You couldn't even sniff the sixes a couple months back. Rates were hovering around 7, 8%. And that was something very different. That was something that the market wasn't prepared for, and things slowed down a little bit. So now that rates have dropped a little bit, there are people coming back into the market. There are buyers that are coming back into the market. But I'm not going to say that things are actually popping in the market, because when we look at the Maryland real estate housing market right now, there's a trend. Homes are sitting. They're sitting on the market right now for so long. Now, let me tell you something. Months ago, you had houses that were selling so quick. I'm talking about 3 to 10 days. These houses were off the market. They had multiple offers, and most of them were selling for over asking price. If you go back to the pandemic, it was even bigger than that. It was a bigger frenzy. So you had all this competition to buy houses. But right now, with these rates where they are, okay, they're a little bit higher. People are thinking about their mortgage payments right now, and people are scared. And they're not necessarily going in and just rushing to buy these houses. So these houses have been sitting for 40 to 60 days. And if it's some type of undesirable house, oh my goodness, it's going to sit for much longer. When you've had houses that have had showings for months and months and months, you have real problems. And what's going to happen? What do you need to do in that case? A lot of the time, people have to drop their price. Now, that was the next part that I wanted to talk about, was these price drops. It's crazy. It's over 30% here in Maryland over the past 3 months that have lowered their price, okay? And that's just one price drop, okay? But it's legitimately been 30%. That's wild, okay? Now, part of the problem is people overprice their houses right off the bat. So if you're thinking about selling your house, be reasonable. Be flexible in regards to what you think your house is worth and what it's actually going to sell for. Buyers are smart. They know what's going on, and nobody's going to overpay for a house. There are sellers that believe their house is worth a certain price, and they absolutely want to list it there. The problem is buyers know what's going on. You have to list the house for what it's worth, what it's going to appraise for. You're not necessarily going to see multiple offers where things are going over asking price. However, if you're smart and you price something appropriately and you price it in a spot where you know you're going to get the traffic, if you can set up your open house on that first weekend, have it priced right where it's supposed to be, here's what could happen. You may have tons of people come through, and you may create a multiple offer situation for yourself, even in this market that's a little balanced where you don't see that all the time. The ones that want that extra money that is above what the house is worth, those people get no traffic. If they're open houses, it's slow because buyers know. They know this house is not worth the price that they're asking. And people care about that stuff right now. So I'm just trying to tell you, this is what's going on in the market. You have houses sitting, okay? You have people dropping their prices, And you have interest rates that are at a level right now that are not necessarily great. Are they better than where they were a couple months ago? Absolutely. Are they good enough to bring people back in the market? That's to be determined, because we are seeing some people come back in the market, but at the same time, what I'm seeing is so many people that were interested and now they're still sitting on the sideline. They're waiting to see if rates come down a little bit. They're waiting to see if these price drops are going to continue, because if the market comes back to some form of equilibrium and home prices become more reasonable and rates continue to drop, the Federal Reserve, they've already signaled that they're going to keep cutting rates. Now, when they did that the last time, they cut the rate by a half a point. And what happened? Mortgage rates went up. So it doesn't necessarily affect mortgage rates. It's literally something that could go either way. The market determines where interest rates go. Bonds determine where interest rates go. The Federal Reserve's decision might be something that's important, but at the same time, rates can do whatever the market determines that they're going to do through the bond market. So people need to remember, if you're looking to save money, you're looking to put yourself in the best situation, maybe it is a good time to check things out. If you need a home, it's time for your forever home. You can always buy a house right now and perhaps refinance that once rates drop. So these are the real deal stats in the market. This is exactly what's going on. Things are a little crazy, but guess what? Things are going to be okay. The future looks very bright for the housing market. I don't believe we're looking at some type of doom and gloom. I believe we could be moving in a very good direction, especially for housing here in Maryland. Things look good, but you know, it doesn't look good everywhere. So where's Maryland hot and where's Maryland not? That's the real question I want to talk about, because it's not the same everywhere. So where are we seeing the most movement in Maryland as far as the real estate market, okay? Areas like Howard County and Anne Arundel County and Frederick County are still seeing houses moving quickly. There's a steady demand, particularly single family and townhouses out there. This is where families are looking for more space, a great area. They're looking to move into something where they can commute, real nice stuff out there in those areas. And those are selling fast. But when you have houses in Baltimore and Silver Spring, they've seen more fluctuations. Things like that, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Harford County, these areas where I focus on, things are sitting a little longer. They're not quite as hot right now. It's slowed down. So everybody's wondering, are we heading for a market crash? Are we going to continue to cool off as far as the market's concerned here in Maryland? Now look, the truth is, it might be a little bit of both. Things might be a little bit different than what we're used to. The houses may continue to sit a little bit longer. It might take interest rates to drop further for things to pick up. But the real estate market's always going to be here. Whether you're renting or buying, I'm always here for you. If you have questions about any of that stuff, do me a favor. Drop a comment. We can talk about it. I'd be happy to discuss any of these things with any of you. Now, I know I'm focused on Maryland, and some of you people might be watching from other places, and I'd love to add insights if you have anything that you'd love to talk about. So like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, but please, the most important thing is to drop a comment. So here we are in Maryland. We have a real estate market that's a little confused. Is it buyers? Is it sellers? Who has the advantage? Well, right now, home prices are dropping. Buyers have the opportunity to negotiate for a better deal. They can ask for some type of seller concessions if a house has been sitting long. So what I like to look for when I'm talking to my clients, I always tell them, if we can find houses that have been sitting for 14, 21 days, we might be able to go in there and offer something that's reasonable and get that house. When you're dealing with 3 or 4 people that have already sent in offers, it's crazy to do something low because you're not going to win the bid. So it's a completely different market for different houses in different areas here in Maryland. So I just wanted to talk about that. I hope you liked the video. Give me a shout if you need anything at all. I hope you liked the video. So like I said before, like and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.